Are you okay?
I feel faint.
I feel it too.
Welcome back to Director's Choice. Fire, air, water, earth. Long ago, the four elements lived in harmony. And in that time, hundreds of avatars have been reincarnated up until the Fire Nation attacked, and we were left with the last airbender. The world was left in chaos after the air nomads were mostly wiped out, except Aang, the young avatar, and his trusted flying bison buddy Appa. One of the most fascinating parts of the Avatar storyline, in both The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, is the Avatar cycle. Just in case that doesn't sound familiar, remember these visuals? The Avatar cycle is like a family tree, or lineage tracing for the avatars, except they aren't biologically related. So, the Avatar cycle is pretty unique and important for all the new avatars, because it's like free access to the past avatars' memories and experiences. Now, with that sort of importance, it would be tragic if anything happened to the continuation of the cycle, wouldn't it? In this episode of Director's Choice, we're gonna look at the possible reasons why the Avatar cycle might have to end. Could Korra's encounter with Unalaq have led to the end of the legendary Avatar cycle? Is there any hope for the Avatar line to continue despite Korra's loss of connection with her predecessors? Who would be the next Avatar, if any? Let's get right to it. This is the breakdown of why the Avatar cycle might have to end. The Avatar, as we know from Katara's iconic intro, is the master of all four elements. A human being who is chosen to bear the special connection with the Avatar spirit. The first Avatar was formed when Wan got permanently fused with Rava. Wan, a human who had been banished to the spirit worlds, decided to help bridge the connection between humans and spirits. And to do that, Wan got fused with Rava, the spirit of light and peace. And Wan became the first Avatar, with the ability to bend all four elements, and a mission to balance the world of humans and spirits while maintaining peace.
I have got to get over there!
Wan had been responsible for sealing Vatu, the evil spirit of darkness and chaos, away from the world. Before becoming the Avatar, Wan had gotten the firebending ability, and after becoming the Avatar, he learned air, water, and earthbending, in that exact order. Sound familiar?
How?
Upon Wan's death, Rava's spirit was transferred to another lifetime for someone in the next nation according to the way he had learned the bending elements. So, the next Avatar after Wan was chosen from the air nomads.
I can't let the world fall into chaos because of my mistake. Neither of us can defeat Batu alone, but together we have a chance.
And thus began the history of the Avatar cycle, which is basically the transfer of Rava's spirit across the nations for thousands of years. Between Wan and Korra, there were hundreds of avatars who made up the Avatar cycle. So, before we dive into the reasons why a cycle that has lasted across so many lifetimes might be ending, let's take a quick look at some interesting things about the Avatar cycle. Like we mentioned earlier, the first Avatar, Wan, got the ability to bend the fire element firstly, before picking up the air, water, and earth abilities, in that exact order. For that reason, all avatars after him were selected based on the order of the nations, and they had to master the elements in the same sequence. So, starting from the beginning, the avatar after Wan would have been an airbender, and mastered the elements as air, water, earth, and fire. The third avatar would have been a waterbender, and learned how to bend water, earth, fire, and air accordingly.
No human has ever held two elements at the same time.
Any attempt to learn an element out of the order would result in very minimal bending abilities, and a disconnection from the spiritual aspects of that ability. We got to see this when Aang tried to learn the firebending techniques from Zhang before learning the other abilities. He was able to create fire, but he couldn't control it.
Fire is alive. It breathes. It grows. Without the bender, a rock will not throw itself.
Later, after he had learned the elements in their correct sequence, Aang was able to learn the bending aspects of the fire elements. With the peculiarities of the Avatar cycle, the four nations are vaguely aware of the identity of the next Avatar. However, each of the nations has their special methods of identifying who would be the new Avatar among their members, and it had a pretty close accuracy, with only one known case of error. The air nomads gave their infants several toys to select from, and any child who picked the exact 4 toys, which were known as Avatar relics that had previously belonged to the Avatars, would be identified as the new Avatar. In the Earth Kingdom, the method was a bit more complex because of their population. The Earthbending Masters would cast a special set of bone trigrams and use the location they pointed to in ruling out the rest of the kingdom. The process would be repeated in the area the bones pointed towards, and continued to the bones pointed to the household of the infant who would become the Avatar from the Earth Kingdom. Despite the fact the Avatars are spirit reincarnations of each other, they all have their different personality traits, and these personalities clash with certain elements that they may find hard to control. Typically, the element that clashes with the Avatar's personality are an element that is the opposite of their birth nation. So, going by that peculiarity, a firebending Avatar will have trouble mastering waterbending. However, there are some cases where the reverse is the case, like Korra, who had difficulty mastering airbending as opposed to firebending, which was actually her opposite element.
I have mastered airbending. Punch, punch, punch! See?
For Korra, she bonded more with the fire element because of her naturally brash attitude that didn't settle well with airbending.
Really? That's great!
For a cycle that is so detailed, having been in existence for 10,000 years, since the harmonic convergence of Wan and Rava to defeat Vaatu, it is quite hard to imagine that the Avatar cycle might have to end. But, following the events of the Legend of Korra,
By freeing Vaatu, I let chaos into the world?
Precisely. The human and spirit realms are headed toward annihilation.
it might be a closer reality than we would have ever imagined. So, why would a 10,000-year-old cycle be ending? Let's break it down. It all goes back to the very beginning of the Avatar cycle, when Wan first met Rava and Vaatu fighting.
Stop, or you'll destroy everything!
A battle of light and peace against darkness and chaos. After learning the truth about Vaatu, Wan became the Avatar through the first harmonic convergence, and he could face Vaatu a year later.
Before you get to her, you'll have to go through me.
No human can stand against me.
Successfully defeating the Dark Spirit, Wan sealed Vaatu in the Tree of Time and closed the portals to the Spirit World so that no human would be able to travel there, which would lead to Vaatu's escape. And he was right to do that. 10,000 years later, however, there was another harmonic convergence of the bad kind. Unalaq wanted to create a new world and ended up fusing with Vaatu, becoming the first Dark Avatar. During her battle of Unalaq and Vaatu, Korra lost Rava, who was stripped away by the Dark Spirit. In the events that followed, Korra got Rava back, but she had lost her connection with the other avatars in the Avatar cycle, which could mean that the Avatar cycle came to an end with Aang as the last Avatar to enter the history of the cycle. Korra decided that the Avatar shouldn't be the bridge between the spirit and human worlds. Instead, she wanted to use the light in Rava's spirit to bring peace to the world. But does that mean there is still hope for a new cycle? We'll get to that later.
The Avatar state is a defense mechanism designed to empower you with the skills and knowledge of all the past Avatars.
Korra losing her connection with the past Avatars meant that she could no longer interact with them or access their memories to learn from their past experiences. Typically, the Avatar cycle had been beneficial to help a new Avatar navigate through the process of accomplishing their goal.
When we hit our lowest point, we are open to the greatest change.
Without the help of the connection between the past Avatars, It may not be very possible to have another avatar within that cycle. But we have to ask again, does that mean a new avatar cycle beginning with Korra could be in the works? Let's find out. The avatar cycle might be ending as a result of Vaatu's release from the time tree, which disrupted the harmonic convergence, and ultimately led to the loss of connection with the avatar cycle. However, when we take a closer look at the storyline and overall plot of the Avatar series, there seems to be a few possibilities that we haven't seen the end of the Avatar cycle. While the cycle that gave us the legends like Kyoshi and Aang is most likely gone, we can't deny that with an epic storyline, there could be a loophole that would be used to restore the connection. Or we could simply agree that the cycle is gone, and Korra would be the start of a new Avatar cycle, with a new mission, spreading light and peace in the world without having to be the gatekeeper of the worlds. So maybe there's a possibility? Is the Avatar cycle ending? Will there be a new cycle? Who knows, really? If the creators of the show choose to push the franchise, we could see the reality of an earthbending avatar. If they choose to spin off right after Korra, and if they do not, we could skip a few years into the future or past and explore more possibilities or get insight into some history. In any case, we'd simply be excited to see what's next for the avatars. That's all for today. Thank you for joining us on the breakdown of why the Avatar cycle might have to end. Take a look at this other recent clip by Director's Choice, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos.